The NFL let both of Deion Sanders' sons slide in the draft, and now they look stupid because both Shilo and Shedeur Sanders were balling out during OTAs and mini camps. Shilo, he was getting rave reviews from the Buccaneers staff, including head coach Todd Bowles, who was really impressed with his footwork, his instincts, the demonstration of great leadership that he showed. And he also was impressed with his high IQ. And Shilo will make the Buccaneers roster this year. There is a place in the NFL for Shilo Sanders. I always felt that he was a really good player. He just was more so playing a tad bit out of position. I view Shilo Sanders as a nickel or dime linebacker. He's better when he's able to play near the line of scrimmage, when he can better impact the run game. He also can cover running backs and tight ends. There's a spot on this Buccaneers roster for Shilo Sanders, and I'll be shocked if he doesn't end up making the final 53. Shedeur Sanders, on the other hand, Shedeur has been the Browns' best quarterback during OTAs and mini camps. He threw the most touchdowns out of any quarterback on that roster. He had the highest completion percentage as well. And every time you hear Browns players discuss Shedeur, it makes you believe that this is the guy that the locker room is rallying behind because they believe he truly gives this team the best shot at winning this year. And Shedeur will eventually start this year. I have no doubts about that. The owner was the person who made the decision to get Shedeur Sanders. And for a very good reason. The Browns aren't going to be good this year. So by the time you get to week 12, week 13, you're 2-10, 2-11, the season is all but over. How you can keep fans engaged and keep the ticket sales coming in along with the merchandise and ratings is by starting the chosen son of Deion Sanders. And with Shedeur Sanders eventually coming in, not only is he going to draw a lot of eyes and ratings, but the amount of cash that's going to come with that. The owner doesn't want to see Dylan Gabriel out there. He doesn't want to see Kenny Pickett, and he probably doesn't want to see too much of Joe Flacco if he's not producing. The NFL is a business, and if you're not winning, you definitely better be generating revenue, and Shedeur is going to do that. And out of all of the bad decisions that Jimmy Haslam has made, from giving Deshaun Watson the worst contract in the history of sports, drafting Johnny Manziel, getting Shedeur Sanders is the best decision he has ever made, because this was a first-round talent that slipped through the drafts due to things that we never will truly know the truth about. But from what we've seen out of Shedeur so far, with what he's done in the community of Cleveland, what he has said during the press conferences, it doesn't make me believe that there was a lot of truth to those character concerns that folks had about him during the draft process. It doesn't make me believe fully that he was going into these interviews acting like he was Satan. Maybe these coaches didn't really understand Shedeur Sanders. And maybe there were some things that Shedeur didn't really understand about these coaches. But it doesn't matter at this point. All that is hearsay. When you watch Shedeur, he has handled everything like a pro. And he, without a doubt, will be not just the long-term quarterback of the Browns, but finally the quarterback that Browns fans can call a franchise QB. They haven't had one since the beginning of time. I don't think the Browns have ever had a franchise quarterback. You had Baker Mayfield, but you didn't get the Baker Mayfield that we see in Tampa that has become somewhat of a top 10 quarterback. Back then, he was on the rise, but still very inconsistent. But Shedeur, with him having the genes and the blood of Deion Sanders, I just can't imagine him not being a great quarterback. Will he be the best quarterback in the NFL? No, but you don't need to be the most talented nor the best to win the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts constantly gets berated and torn down because he's not as talented as Lamar or Josh Allen, but yet he's been the only one to beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl other than Tom Brady. So Shedeur has the skill set. He has the intangibles to be a very high level quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. And both of Deion Sanders' sons, Shilo and Shedeur, they've made a lot of impressive plays up to this point during the offseason. Of course, it's all OTAs and minicamp. We won't really know how good these two truly are until training camp rolls around. But if you're dominating in minicamp, you more than likely will be able to repeat that during training camp, especially Shilo, now that he'll truly be able to show the kind of player that he is. Shilo is a really physical player. So with him being this good without pads makes me believe that he's definitely going to make the roster when he's able to go out and hit somebody, because at Colorado, he was doing nothing but laying down the hit stick. And Shedeur, if you're dominating third stringers and backups, it shows that you're not getting tested. You need more competition because it's just too easy for you. So the Browns have no choice but to give him first team reps. It's just too easy for him. How can you evaluate every single quarterback when Shedeur is just dominating against guys who more than likely won't make the roster? And it confuses me how Kevin Stefanski said that this was an open competition for the starting quarterback job. Everybody will be evaluated the same, yet Shedeur is the only quarterback who has yet to receive first-team reps. Are they trying to make him work harder for it? Are they really trying to make him prove himself? Maybe that's what the case is, because I really can't tell you what the logic is. If I was a coach and I was having a quarterback competition, I wouldn't flat out name Shedeur the starter, but I would make sure that all four of the quarterbacks in this competition had the same amount of first-team reps. But Deion Sanders has to be really proud right now because both of his sons, who were heavily criticized, it was a lot of scrutiny around how good they truly were. They're making the NFL look really dumb for passing on them. Shilo went undrafted when I thought he at least could have been a 6th or 7th round pick. But, you know, he's making the most out of his opportunity. Same thing with Shedeur, and that's all that matters. And eventually the NFL is going to look back on Shedeur and Shilo's draft slides, and you're going to have a lot of GMs and coaches who got fired saying, damn, maybe I still would have had a job if I would have took one of Deion's sons.